Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to show my Klein tools collection as of July 2025. I've made quite a few videos on these tools, comparing them to other brands, comparing them even to older models from Klein that we've come to know and love. They've come out with some pretty interesting designs just in the past couple years that have some innovative features, and I know they're going to continue to do that. I can have seen some of what they're coming out in the future. Pretty exciting, but I just wanted to show you like how many different categories of tools that they've gotten into that really have changed the way that I work, whether it's organization, accessories, tool pouches, work accessories, and some of the ones that I've purchased and hope to use in the future. Okay, so one of the tools that surprised me that I end up grabbing the most is this insulated multi-driver from Klein. I like it because it's so convenient being able to lock and unlock the blade and flip it in and out. So this has become one of my most used, not just on electrical projects, but just grabbing a screwdriver. 11-in-1 ratcheting, the Impact 11-in-1 ratcheting screwdriver from Klein, just because it has a nice assortment of bits. Plus, it also allows you to customize with your own bits. I put a Schrader core remover in this one, and you can put any 1/4-inch shaft in this as long as it will fit in the screwdriver handle. And it also, actually I had it right here on the front, getting used to this one again. They changed the design on this, I noticed, very slightly. They changed the arrangements of the bits. But the magnetic feature right here allows you to hold 1-inch bits in the front, which is really convenient. And it has one of the smoothest ratchet functions that I have used. Not super crazy about the switch as much. It's pretty stiff. And if your hands are slippery, it is kind of hard to engage. But like I said, one of the smoothest, quietest ratcheting mechanisms of any newer screwdriver that I've used. That's going to be second on my most used. As far as micro bits, I still really like the 13-in-1 pocket driver. Technically, this is in the plumbing section of Lowe's, but I like the assortment of bits that it has. I use the little magnet there a good bit, and I like that it has a carousel with a selection of bits in it. And to go along with that, I did get the 27-in-1 precision or tamper-proof screwdriver, and these bits are compatible with this screwdriver, so I have the option to swap my most used bits out with this screwdriver if I want. And I do like the nice big handle on the 27-in-1 tamper screwdriver, and the fact that it magnetizes the bits. And like I said, these bits are compatible with this one, whereas in the past, this was one of the first little precision drivers that I bought from Klein, their previous pocket version. They have several different models of this. This uses the longer bits with the ball detent in there, so it's not really compatible with anything. I actually swapped out for the security Torx bits in here, and I keep this in my knife maintenance kit. But those come in really handy working on small toys and opening up little covers and working on different things. And having the option to have all those bits means you're prepared for whatever small task. So I keep that in a bag. I also grab the 8-in-1 stubby a lot. Sometimes I have the flip bits, which I have back here, to turn it into the super stubby, and that makes it really handy. But I just like that it's a small driver. Kind of makes it like remind you of the Vessel ball driver handles. Sometimes I just want something that's stubby like this, but I can actually adjust it out to have a decent length screwdriver. I don't really use it as much as a stubby, but I also like using this with my Klein electrician's ratchet because it uses the same bits, and so I can swap them back and forth. A lot of times I'll keep them in the same kit. Right now that's in my SPMC, but this has become a pretty nice screwdriver to me. I don't really have any problems getting these bits out. Maybe they updated it. I know a lot of people had problems with the version that has the non-impact black oxide bits, but I got these on sale along with the 14-in-1 adjustable, which I also like. I just like having the adjustable length shaft. It actually makes it really nice to stick it in the side of a backpack. You can throw it in your pocket, although it has a pretty fat handle. And so I like using this as a nut driver more. I keep the longer flip socket shaft in here that you can still use a bit, so it makes it a super screwdriver, and it has a nice selection of impact rated bits, including one of their combo bits like this. So that's nice. I keep this in a bag where I don't necessarily know I'm going to be doing electrical work, but if I need to, I have that bit, and it gives you a little bit extra torque, especially with this large handle for tightening the posts on, say, an outlet or switch or whatever. And you can see I've been using Klein screwdrivers here out in the garage for a long time. This is the 600-4. You can see it's pretty beat up on the back. I think we found this at a flea market or maybe a Goodwill or something like that. This is like everybody's first beater screwdriver, but they recently released the heavy duty version of that, which is the 600- or 604 demo driver. And I really like how the back of it swells out here, so it helps protect your hand, especially if you're using a larger hammer, or maybe you're using your lineman pliers. But you can see I use this quite a bit. It's starting to get beat up on the back here, but I think this has a much more comfortable handle. I find myself using the demo driver a lot because sometimes you just need something that's skinnier than a pry bar and just has a straight chisel tip. They seem to be pretty tough so far, so we'll see how they hold up. And you've probably seen some of my videos on the Connect system, the mod box cases here. This is the starter kit. In my opinion, the best value. Buy this first. They intend you to buy it first. It comes with a nice pass-through ratchet, accessories. You can run all these in your impact. So basically you have pass-through nut setters that you can run in your impact, at least up to a certain point. It gives you a screwdriver handle. It's not pass-through, but you could probably make it if you wanted to. So that gives you another option. This is going to cover a lot of bases for you guys. I actually modified mine by putting the metric flip socket set, the 6-in-1 flip socket, in here because I don't use it as often, but I like to have it with this set. It gives you some bits. It's very versatile. Can't say enough about it. I don't end up using these sockets very often. They're more of a just-in-case item. So a lot of times I'll keep this with my electrical bag, but it is handy to have. Another just-in-case item for me that I decided to pick up because it was on sale is the 9-in-1 magnetic pass-through nut driver. This is a pretty cool tool as far as an all-in-one option. This covers more sizes than this pass-through set. It's actually not that heavy, and I find that it's pretty convenient. You saw it in the mod box pouch here. It's pretty convenient to keep in a pouch or a bag because of the form factor. All the smaller sizes are magnetic, so that's pretty handy. And it allows you to put a wrench on the outside here to get extra torque. I actually keep this in my plumbing bag because I find that you probably need pass-through more often for like toilet bolts, things similar to that. But I can always throw this in another bag if I know I'm going to be getting into something. This is a pretty good tool. I like the updates that they made over the previous version. That one I don't think is worth getting. And I'm excited to see if they continue to update this, maybe integrate this with the Connect systems. I know that the new 14-in-1 flip socket driver that some of the channels have been showing off, I think it uses a larger size inside like this. This is 3/4 inch. I can't remember what size that one is. It might be even larger. It might be 11/16 or something like that. 13/16. Maybe it is 3/4. Anyway. It would be nice if they came out with a larger size and maybe made something impact rated or made a way that you could throw these on an impact. You can kind of use these in conjunction with some of these adapters just for the smaller sizes if you really needed to run it on an impact. But it's got a nice size handle, comfortable to use like all the Klein handles. And just can't say enough about that one. I hope to be able to use it more. Another tool that I picked up just because I wanted to try it out is the Impact 13-in-1 ratcheting. Just because I've heard so many good things about these bits, and you can tell they're a different profile from your standard impact bit. You can tell the most with the Phillips. And it has an assortment of bits here in the back. Even the flat blade bits seem like they would be good for terminals to be able to use in breakers. Not sure if they're thin enough for some breakers. But this is a good one. This is really what I would consider to be an electrician screwdriver. It seems to be specifically made for electricians. All the rest of these, besides maybe the insulated, are good for everybody, homeowners, maintenance guys. But this one seems to be specifically made for electricians. Another good feature is you can throw these in your impact if you want to. They are a little bit wobbly, but that's just kind of a compromise. This one has a pretty good ratcheting mechanism. It's not as nice as the ratcheting 11-in-1. It's a little bit not as fine, and it has a little bit more back drag to it. The switch is a lot easier to operate. Some people complain that it's too easy. I wish they would kind of find a good middle ground between the two of these. This one has a really smooth ratcheting mechanism, but the selector is hard to use. This one doesn't have as good of a ratcheting mechanism, and this one's too easy to operate. So I can see that they continue to make improvements. They also have a new version of this that has just the black bits. I think it's sold at Home Depot, but I don't think it has the same fitment as these. But I did notice that I've seen on other channels that it does come with a combo blade bit, which is basically like the ECX driver from Milwaukee. It's their C1 and C2 bits. That would be really nice to have. In fact, sometimes I have a double-ended, just a short one from one of those multi-screwdrivers I'll throw in here, and I have it just in case. They've been getting into a lot of different spaces. You've seen me show off the Mod Box pouches. I don't use them as actual tool pouches anymore because I have my Vito, which are much more comfortable to use. But these make great tool storage, along with some of their other Mod Box accessories, like this tool holder here. And they even get into the PPE space. You have these knee pads that are meant to just slip over your legs. They seem like they would be really breathable and comfortable. I'll have to do a review on these once I get a chance to actually use them. They are thinner, so they're not going to give you the same protection, but you can sometimes find these on sale at Lowe's. This is the compression sleeve, model 60624. So it's pretty cool to see them getting into that kind of stuff. They have something to cover all of your job site needs, and that's pretty cool. One I didn't talk about yet, and one reason is once you get into this Connect system, especially this Connect S, hard to do one hand. Once you get into this Connect S system that uses this size, it makes you want to get into some of their other compatible screwdrivers, like the stubby. I think this is the Impact stubby ratchet. I think it's like a 6-in-1, and it uses the same collet as the ratcheting 11-in-1. Has the same nice smooth mechanism here, and it is nice to use. One downside is these bits here, they don't really work that well in an Impact, in my opinion, so I probably will never use them like that. But it's nice to have a stubby screwdriver, and I have it in a Riley knife and tool sheath, just like my 8-in-1 stubby there. So that's just kind of an overview of what Klein's been getting into lately. They've been coming out with some cool stuff. I've always liked their screwdrivers. I haven't gotten into their pliers yet. Now here's a bonus. Let's see if you can tell whether this is a Klein tool or not. It looks just like their crimpers with the cutter on the front here, but in fact, this is Doyle from Harbor Freight. I think they're made in Taiwan, but it seems to be just exactly like the Klein, even though they are made in the USA. I want to try out some of their made in USA pliers. As you know, I'm a big fan of German pliers like Knipex, NWS, some of those brands, and even Japanese pliers. I don't really have that many made in the USA pliers because a lot of those companies got phased out, like Craftsman and some of the older brands. But Klein still makes a lot of their pliers in the US. It's pretty cool to see. So if I ever find a good deal on them, even though I don't really need them, I might pick them up just to review on the channel here. So that's my thoughts on Klein tools. I've been really getting into them. I hope you guys enjoy these kind of videos and don't get tired of this kind of content. I enjoy making it. And so I hope you find it useful. Maybe it'll help you in your decision. I don't do as many like in-depth tool reviews on this channel, but I just like showing things so that you guys have an idea of whether it will work good for you. Because a lot of us here on YouTube, as soon as you see the features of a tool, you know whether it's going to work for your purpose or not. So hope you guys like these videos, and we'll catch you on the next one.